WTF!
Happy day 3 of the year of the Rusev. I am Ross from Cultaholic.com. You are my sexual wank pheasants, and it's that bastard time of the week once again where I take a look at all of the WTF moments from Smack Diddly Down Live. Happy New Year, he says. Nah, Uncle Alan, not in this community. It's the second Happy Rusev Day in this brand new Rusev year. Now, I guarantee if somebody explained why AJ made an error by saying Happy New Year and not Happy Second Rusev Day of the new Rusev year, he wouldn't be going on a radio interview in bewilderment. Ooh, what a lovely word. Lovely, lovely, lovely. More of these, please. That sign there is the single biggest example of underselling since my grandmother sold her Fiat Panda for a Tamagotchi, a Mars bar, and a copy of Paula Abdul's Forever My Girl back in the 80s. Because let me tell you that AJ Styles' hair isn't just good. AJ Styles' hair isn't just great. AJ Styles' hair is glorious bollocks. He's part of the worth it community. Wrestling fans are the worst, aren't they? We are absolute arseholes. We are the worst for confusing our opinion with actual fact. If a wrestling fan likes one thing and then you decide to like something that they don't or hate something that they like, you are wrong, you prick. 'Tis the beauty of the graps. It's a subjective art form. There is no correct answer when the question is asked as to what is good graps. If her dad doesn't like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, good on him. That woman there, she is a numpty and has brought shame to us all because she's fed into the stereotype of the narrow-minded wrestling fan. Shame! Hang on a second, the commentators were making a big old hoo-ha that there's concern in the SmackDown Live locker room that Daniel Bryan has shown favouritism to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Now colour me perplexed like you were with a chihuahua with a biro. Where is the concern from the SmackDown Live locker room that Shane McMahon is showing prejudice towards a couple of Canadians in Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens? Ah yes, it must be where the rest of Shane McMahon's being is, and that is so far up his own arsehole that he can see out of his own mouth. Take yourself back a year and just picture how little Shane McMahon was like his sister Stephanie compared to what he is now. It makes me sick that we have to see him as a good guy and the best wrestler in the world today when in fact he is a delusional, power-hungry, horrible old sweaty man. Aye, because it was the only pissing show on television that day, because for us it was Rusev Day, but for the rest of mankind, those numpties who do not like the graps, it was Boxing Day. I was taking a bath in pigs and blankets, whiskey, my own piss and my own vomit by the time SmackDown Live came on the air on Boxing Day, so I was quite physically unable to tweet about the show while it was on. That's a complete lie. I celebrated last Rusev Day with all the class and sophistication of Katie Price. Tom Phillips face fornicating the poo out of yet another line on commentary when he claimed that the Usos had a super fantastic year in 2017 when they captured their 4th and 5th tag team championship reign. Das ist wrong, you numpty, as the Germans would say. They actually had 3 championship reigns. They beat the Old American Alpha in March, then they beat the New Day in August and October respectively. This means they had their 3rd, 4th and 5th championship reign, not just their 4th and 5th. Tom. But hey, I bet Tom was still rock hard either way. Byron Saxton now in the moment, he claimed that Jimmy Uso lost 40 pounds last year. It had me all like, what? Oh hell no. Hold up. Here's some things that weigh 40 pounds: a border collie, a 5-gallon jug of water, 1/4 of gold dust nutsack. Go back and watch yesterday's WTF Moments for Raw if you want to see how big gold dust bollocks are. But what I'm getting at here is that you're not telling me that there's 40 pounds difference between the Jimmy Uso on one side of that image and the Jimmy Uso on the other, Byron. Now, I like what they did at the end of the initial tag team match last night on SmackDown Live, but I couldn't get the feeling of why don't they do this every single time there's a screwy finish out of my potato-shaped head. How come there's not always a spare referee in the back watching these matches to come out and set the record straight whenever there's a screwy finish? Why was it just this match? I liked it. It made the match feel more real, and it it was more logical, but bloody hell, what's that down there? It's a plot hole. Now, yesterday on the WTF Moments video for WWE Raw, I mentioned how much Monica Geller loves the 7 erogenous zones. Well, it turns out that Sami Zayn loves them just as much as she does, or maybe a little bit more, because while trying to say his own bloody name, he said the number 7. Number 1 is the ears, number 2 is the lips, number 3 is the neck, number 4 is the breast, number 5 is the arse, number 6 is the inner thigh, and number 7, which Sami Zayn showed last night is his favourite, is the vagine. Man alive, Xavier Woods is a nasty bastard, isn't he? On the final SmackDown Live before Christmas, we saw him regurgitating chewed up pancake right onto the face of Aiden English, and then last night we saw Xavier Woods quite literally eating pancake that had been resting on a very big ending. The Bell End of Big E, wouldn't that make a nice album title? I wonder what that would make those pancakes topped with. Let's have a guess, shall we? Sweat, smeg and spunk. Next up, we have Natalia calling the Riott Squad a bunch of scared rats running from a sinking ship. Now that's a little bit too low, don't you agree? I mean, with them being rats running from a sinking ship, I didn't realise the Riott Squad were fans of Logan Paul, but calling them rats is really bad and shouldn't be happening on a wrestling show. Rats in wrestling is such a horrible term and should not be used. Let me emphasise that, it should not be used. Now anyhow, my memory might be a little bit messed up due to all the alcohol, Matt Hardy and Night Nurse, but I swear at Clash of Champions I saw Natalia say she was going to turn her back on everybody and their dog. But now she's back on SmackDown and she has a bunch of friends. She's done exactly the opposite of what she said she was going to do. Did she read out Dolph Ziggler's promo at Clash of Champions, or did Dolph read out hers when he relinquished the United States Championship? Answers on a postcard, please, because I'd really like to know. Hearing about magic not being real in the midst of a professional wrestling show reminded me of that time I took LSD and watched Beetlejuice Me Pet Goldfish. Becky Lynch came back. Good. Now, I guess that since trios that are quite similar to one another is the hip-hop and happening trend within WWE at the minute, Becky Lynch will be fronting up a new trio called the Lynch Mob, because it's both a pun and a really cringe-worthy name. Hey, it's right up WWE's Cadbury alley when it comes to naming their female factions. You can't argue with that. Oh, you want me to speak now? And next up we have Tom Phillips, who asked how it's fair that Kevin Owens gets to be in Sami Zayn's corner. Tom, the reason, is stood there profusely sweating yards away from you. He's the greatest wrestler in the world, didn't you know, for Christ's sake? How can't you notice him? The Regulator, the Reckoning, the Law, your dad and mine, the best professional wrestler on planet Earth today. Shane McMahon is out there just to make sure nothing goes wrong, and under his watch, by God, nothing will go wrong. Except it did. Right, I've had it. I'm sat there trying to watch AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn, yet all I can see is gallons of verbal diarrhea flowing through the streets of Orlando. Daniel Bryan isn't playing favourites, or he wasn't until right at the end of last night's show. He was only being fair. Shane McMahon tried to screw Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn at Clash of Champions. Daniel Bryan did it right back in his face like he deserved to. Then last week, I can't really speak for it because my mind was in other places, but for the sake of this argument, let's just say that Sami Zayn had every right to be out there with his tag team partner and his best friend in Kevin Owens. Shane wants to be at ringside last night for the main event. Daniel Bryan says Kevin Owens can do the exact same thing. Turnabout is fair play, just get Shane McMahon off my television screen. It's absolute nonsense. And next up we have the moment where Kevin Owens sold for Shane McMahon like a fetus would against Brock Lesnar. Now, I'm not saying that Brock Lesnar beats up fetuses, it's just the visual of something really big against something really small. Kevin Owens being the really small thing in this situation because Shane McMahon's the best. Forget about that though. Kevin Owens should not be flopping down like that for Shane McMahon, a dad who was daddier than he is, for Christ's sake. So Daniel Bryan makes the WWE Championship match at the Royal Rumble a handicap match with Styles defending against both Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, yet the commissioner of SmackDown Live, Shane McMahon, just stood there and said, "Nah, ting, if we know something about WWE, the commissioner's word always overrules the general manager." George's word, so why didn't he do Santing? And we finish with Byron Saxon, who claimed that AJ Styles was not being serious when AJ said he should just have a match against both Kevin and Sami at the same time to make everybody happy. This is WWE. Byron, the old fable goes, if you don't want to do it on television, don't do it anywhere while you're at work. Just look at Tommy Dreamer drinking out of urinals if you want to see this in action. AJ Styles did the worst thing he could have done. He said he would do something on live television in front of the entire world, so of course WWE were actually going to make him do it. And Byron, why are you asking this question? I know this goes on and I don't even work for WWE. You should know this. That's it for your WTF moments for this week's WWE SmackDown Live. I've been Ross from Cultaholic.com. You can follow me on the Twitter machine here. Pledge to our Patreon page, patreon.com/Cultaholic. Anything you can give is very much appreciated. But most importantly of all, do make sure to join us, please.